everyone. Hope you all are fine. Let's start with economy. First is Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. Why it's in news? With a view to providing a greater measure of protection to depositors in bank, the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation has raised the limit of insurance cover for depositors in insured banks from the present level of rupees 1 lakh to rupees 5 lakh per depositor with effect from February 4, 2020 with the approval of Government of India. Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Reserve Bank of India. When a bank collapses, depositors will get rupees 5 lakh from the corporation. However, now depositors holding more than 5 lakh in their account have no legal remedy in case of the collapse of the bank. Irrespective of the deposit amount, be it rupees 25 lakh or rupees 5 crore, the depositor will get only rupees 5 lakh if a bank collapses. Next one is Tillahan Mission. Okay. What's in news? Union Agriculture Minister announced that the government will launch Tillahan Mission to make the country self-reliant in oilseed production. Total oilseeds production in the country during 2019 to 20 is estimated at 34.19 million tons, which is higher by 2.67 million tons than the production of 31.52 million tons during 2018 to 2019. Right? Next one is India's imports of palm oil. Just go with this graph thoroughly. Okay. What's the news? India imported 64.15 lakh metric tons MT of crude palm oil, that is CPO, and 23.9 lakh MT of refined, bleached and deodorized RBD palm oil in 2018 to 2019, the bulk of which was from Indonesia. Right? Commerce Ministry data show India imported $10 billion worth of vegetable oil in 2019 to 20, making it the country's fifth most valuable import after mineral oil. That is $141 BN, and gold is for $32 BN, and coal is for $26 BN, and telecom instruments such as cell phones are $17 BN. Palm oil is the cheapest edible oil available naturally. Its insert taste makes it suitable for use in foods ranging from baked goods to fried snacks. It stays relatively stable at high temperatures and is therefore suitable for reuse and deep frying. It is the main ingredient in Vanaspati hydrogenated vegetable oil. Okay, that is hydrogenated vegetable oil. Right? Next one is India's foreign trade. Just go with this picture thoroughly. And okay, India's top 5 exports, like it is a mention here. Petroleum products are there, precious stones are there, drug formulations and biologicals are there, gold and precious metals, and iron and steel. And top 5 imports are crude, petroleum, gold, petroleum products, coal, coke and briquettes. Right? Next one is National Agriculture Market, that is ENAM. Just go with this map thoroughly. Okay. It was launched on 14th April 2016 as a pan-India electronic trade portal linking agricultural produce market committees, that is APMCs, across the states. It provides for contactless remote bidding and mobile-based anytime payment, for which traders do not need to either visit mandis or bank for the same. The Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium SFAC is the lead agency for implementing ENAM under the aegis of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. Already 585 mandis in 16 states and 2 union territories have been integrated on e-NAM portal and will be soon expanded to cover additional 415 mandis, which will take the total number of e-NAM mandis to 1000. Okay? Okay, next is Mission Purvoday. Vice in news, Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel launched Purvoday, accelerated development of Eastern India through integrated steel hub. Eastern states of India, Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal and northern part of Andhra Pradesh collectively hold 80% of the country's iron ore, 100% of coking coal and significant portion of chromite, bauxite and dolomite reserves. There is presence of major ports such as Paradip, Haldia, Vizag, Kolkata, etc. with less than 30% of India's major port capacity. In India's march towards $5 trillion economy, the 5 eastern states can play a major role where steel sector can become the catalyst. This eastern belt has the potential to add more than 75% of the country's incremental steel capacity envisioned by the National Steel Policy. It is expected that out of the 300 MT capacity by 2030 to 2031, over 200 MT can come from this region alone, driven by Industry 4.0. Okay, next one is coal imports to India. I request you all just go with this graph thoroughly, right? Okay. Widespread news, India's thermal coal imports rose 12.6% to nearly 200 million tons in 2019. Coal is among the top 5 commodities imported by India, the world's largest consumer, importer and producer of the fuel. Imports of thermal coal, mainly used for power generation, jumped 12.6% to 197.84 million tons in 2019. However, imports of coking coal, used mainly in the manufacturing of steel, fell marginally. Indonesia accounted for nearly 60% of India's thermal coal imports in the April to December period, while South Africa accounted for 22% and Russia and Australia accounting for over 5% each. Coal imports grew largely due to lower production of coal in India Limited, whose output fell for 5 consecutive months ended November due to the highest annual rainfall in 25 years and frequent outages including strikes by workers and locals. Next one is rare earth elements. Just go with this graph thoroughly, mentioned on picture. Right. Rare earth elements or rare earth metals are set of 17 chemical elements in the periodic table. The 15th, lanthanides plus scandium and yttrium, which tend to occur in the same ore deposits as the lanthanides and have similar chemical properties. The 17 rare earths are cerium Ce, dysprosium Dy, erbium, europium, gadolinium, holmium, lanthanum, lutetium, neodymium, paracetymium, promethium, saparium, scandium, terbium, thulium, ytterbium and yttrium. Right? Despite their classification, most of these elements are not really rare. One of the rare earths, promethium, is radioactive. These elements are important in technologies of consumer electronics, computers and networks, communications, clean energy, advanced transportation, healthcare, environmental mitigation, and national defense, among others. Scandium is used in televisions and fluorescent lamps, and yttrium is used in drugs to treat rheumatoid arthritis and cancer. Okay. Rare earth elements are used in space shuttle components, jet engines, turbines, and drones. Cerium, the most abundant rare earth element, is essential to NASA's space shuttle program. Next one is renewable power capacity in India. Just go with this graph thoroughly, mentioned on picture. Okay, green is for wind power, red is for solar power, yellow is for biomass power, blue is for small hydropower, and bottle green is to waste to power, right? Next one is domestic systematically important bank, that is DSIBs. SBI, ICICI, and HDFC Bank continue to be identified as domestic systematically important banks, that is DSIBs. NBFCs whose asset sizes of rupees 500 crore or more as per last audited balance sheet are considered as systematically important NBFCs. The rationale for such classification is that the activities of such NBFCs will have a bearing on the financial stability of the overall economy. Non-banking financial companies are regulated by different regulators in India, such as RBI, IRDA, SEBI, National Housing Bank, and Department of Company Affairs. Next one is sovereign bonds. So, what is sovereign bonds? A sovereign bond is a specific debt instrument issued by the government. They can be denominated in both foreign and domestic currency, just like other bonds. These also promise to pay the buyer a certain amount of interest for a stipulated number of years and repay the face value on maturity. They also having a rating associated with them, which essentially speaks of their credit worthiness. The yield of the sovereign bond is the interest rate that the government pays on issuing bonds. Countries with volatile economies and high inflation rates have to issue higher interest returns on their bonds compared to more stable ones. The yield of the bonds are dependent on primarily three factors. They are creditworthiness, the issuing country's perceived ability to repay their debts. This can be obtained from our rating agencies. Country risk, that is external internal factors like unrest and wars tend to jeopardize a country's ability to pay off their debts. Exchange rates, in cases where bonds are issued in foreign currency, fluctuations in exchange rate may lead to increased payout pressure on the issuing government. Right? Next one is teaser loans. Okay, White's in news. State Bank of India (SBI) plan to offer fixed cum floating home loans rates known as teaser loans. Is likely to hit a regulatory hurdle as the Reserve Bank of India is uncomfortable with such products. Teaser loans are those which charge comparatively lower rates of interest in the first few years, after which the rates are increased. Next is national irrigation projects. Okay, Polavaram project is an under construction multi-purpose national project on the Godavari river in the West Godavari district and East Godavari district in Andhra Pradesh. Gose Khurd irrigation project, also known as Indira Sagar irrigation project, is one of the major irrigation projects in Godavari basin in Maharashtra in the Bandra district on the river Wainganga. The Shahpurkandi Dam project is located on the Ravi River in Pathankot district, Punjab, India. Next is cooperative banks in India. Okay, just go with this picture thoroughly. Right. White's in news. The Union Cabinet approved an amendment to the Banking Regulation Act to bring multi-state cooperative banks under the watch of central bank and prevent a repeat of Punjab and Maharashtra cooperative bank-like crisis. Cooperative banks are financial entities established on a cooperative basis and belonging to their members. This means that the customers of a cooperative bank are also its owners. These banks provide a wide range of regular banking and financial services. Broadly, cooperative banks in India are divided into two categories, that they are urban and rural. In India, cooperative banks are registered under the States Cooperative Societies Act. Okay? They also come under the regulatory ambit of the Reserve Bank of India under two laws, namely the Banking Regulations Act 1949 and the Banking Laws Cooperative Societies, that is Act 1955. Next one is Invest India. Okay, Invest India, set up in 2009, is a non-profit venture under the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. As a national investment promotion and facilitation agency, Invest India focuses on sector-specific investor targeting and development of new partnerships to enable sustainable investments in India. In addition to a core team that focuses on sustainable investments, Invest India also partners with substantial investment promotion agencies and multilateral organizations. Invest India also actively works with several Indian states to build capacity as well as bring in global best practices in investment targeting, promotion and facilitation areas. Okay, next one is minor forest produce, that is MFP. Okay, what's in news? The Union Minister for Tribal Affairs has returned to 15 states for procurement of minor forest produce, that is MFP, at minimum support price, that is MSP, in right earnest, right? An important source of livelihoods for tribal people are non-wood forest products, generally termed minor forest produce, that is MFP, means all non-timber forest produce of plant origin and will include bamboo, canes, fodder, leaves, gums, waxes, dyes, resins, and many forms of food including nuts, wild fruits, honey, lac, tussar, etc. The minor forest producers provide both subsistence and cash income for people who live in or near forests. They form a major portion of their food, fruits, medicines, and other consumption items, and also provide cash income through sale. The scheme of Government of India mechanism for marketing minor forest produce MFP through minimum support price, that is MSP. Okay, right, and development of value chain is designed as a social safety net for improvement of livelihood of MFP gatherers. Next one is Ways and Means Advances, that is WMA. What's in news? The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has recently announced a 60% increase in the Ways and Means Advances, that is WMA, limit of state governments over and above the level as on March 31, with a view to enabling them to undertake COVID-19 containment and mitigation efforts and to better plan for their market borrowings. It is a facility for both the centre and states to borrow from the RBI. These borrowings are meant purely to help them to tide over temporary mismatches in cash flows of their receipts and expenditures. In that sense, they are not a source of finance per se. Section 17(5) of the RBI Act 1934 authorizes the central bank to lend to the centre and state governments subject to their being repayable, not later than 3 months from the date of the making of the advance. The interest rate on WMA is the RBI's repo rate, which is basically the rate at which it lends short-term money to banks. That rate is currently 4.4%. The governments are, however, allowed to draw amounts in excess of their WMA limits. The interest on such overdraft is 2% percentage points above the repo rate which now works out to 6.4%. Next one is Kisanrath mobile app. Okay, it's a mobile application dedicated to farmers. Right. Whites in news, the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has launched Kisanrath mobile app to facilitate transportation of food grains and perishables during lockdown. It has been developed by the National Informatics Center (NIC), backed by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. It will connect farmers and traders to a network of more than 5 lakh trucks and 20,000 tractors. It is meant to help farmers and traders who are searching for vehicles to move produce. This includes primary transport from the farm to the mandis, local warehouses or the collection centers of farmer-producer organizations, secondary transport from the local mandis to intra and interstate mandis, processing units, warehouses or wholesalers. It will provide timely transportation service at competitive rates for farmers and traders. Besides achieving a reduction in food wastage, this will help in ensuring better prices of the produce to farmers. Next one is changes in FDI policy. Whites in news, the government has amended certain sections of the FDI policy for curbing opportunistic takeovers, acquisitions of Indian companies due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. The changes introduced all FDI proposals from countries sharing border with India will be under the government approval route. Their so-called automatic route, under which the central bank simply had to be informed after money was invested and has been blocked in such cases. Companies whose beneficial ownership also lies in such countries will have to undergo government scrutiny for any change in foreign holding. Under the government route, prior to investment, approval from the Government of India is required. Proposals for foreign investment under government route are considered by respective administrative ministry department. Next one is Champions Portal. Okay, Whites in news. Recently, the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises (MSME) has launched Champions Portal. Champions stand for Creation and Harmonious Application of Modern Process for Increasing the Output and National Strength. It is a technology-driven control room cum management information system which utilizes modern information and communication technology (ICT) tools. Its aim is to assist Indian MSMEs march into the big league as national and global champions by solving their grievances and encouraging, supporting, helping, and hand-holding them. In addition to ICT tools, include telephone, internet, and video conference, the system is enabled by artificial intelligence, data analytics, and machine learning. It is also fully integrated on a real-time basis with the Government of India's main grievances portal, centralized public grievances redress and monitoring systems, that is CPGRAMS. Next one is Rajiv Gandhi Kisan Yojana. Okay, Whites in news. Chhattisgarh government will launch a new income support program, Rajiv Gandhi Kisan Yojana, during 90th death anniversary for the former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. The scheme would cover rice, maize and sugarcane farmers and would expand to other crops later. Rice and maize farmers would get rupees 10,000 an acre while sugarcane farmers would get 13,000. The money would be distributed in 4 installments. According to the government, at least 19 lakh farmers will be benefit from the scheme, for which the state government had allocated rupees 5,756 crore in the budget 2020 for budget 2021, right? Okay, so that's all for today's session. Hope you like our videos. Share our videos with your friends. Stay home, stay safe, and if you have any type of query, you can contact us. Our number is 888-345-6893. Okay, thank you so much.